What's going on, guys? It's Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. For the OG vlog watchers, yes, we are still in the same setup, still in the same room. Aces in the background, big ass mic that's just really in the way, but it is what it is. But here, want to make a quick intro to start the video as I have a few announcements to make. First things first, the next few videos that I'm going to be posting will be before the New Jersey trip, before I win the bracelets. So that's just a quick little thing as a heads up. But on August 20th, that will be the first video post-trip, and I have a really cool announcement to make there. I'm going to be giving back to you guys who support the channel and for the people that are in need, so just look out for that video on August 20th. I'm really excited to get that one out there, so got a big announcement there. Secondly, also, we've got this bad boy. These shirts are up, man. Huge shout out to Jamie from Silver Screen Design for getting these printed and getting this logo created. It's amazing. The Let's Go, you got my silhouette here, you got the pocket fours, and you got the bracelet. It's amazing, and you have this little thing and the patch too. I love it. So if you want to check it out, it's only available for a week. Check out the link in the description down below from Silver Screen Design. These are only up for a limited time only, so please, I really appreciate it if you were to check it out. Support the channel. Everything is much appreciated. Also, look out for the video August 20th, and let's get into the video. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video on the channel. And before we get into Boston Billiard, because that's really the only place I'm playing right now, yeah, I'm not really sure what stakes we're gonna play today. We're gonna find out once we get there. Not sure what's actually running, so it'll be a surprise, but I'm assuming something like 1-0, 1-3, but you never really know. Sometimes just a surprise 5-10 video coming, who knows. But I haven't actually plugged this in a while. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. It's Rampage Poker with 2 A's. I'll leave it down on the screen. If you want like live time updates on my sessions and stuff, sometimes I post it, especially when I play 5-10. These videos that I post are uploaded like about 2 weeks later. I'm pretty backlogged in videos, and I'm trying to make consistent videos for you guys. So they're scheduled for about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks after they actually happen. So if you want live updates on what I'm up to, definitely follow me, and I'll see you guys there. But wish us luck, see what happens. Let's get into it. Into the 1-3 game we go, buy-in for $500, and one of the first hands we looked at, we have pocket eights in the button, and we're playing six-handed. The cutoff opens up the action to $10. I 3-bet to $30 with a pair and in position. He's a smaller stack, under $170-ish, so he makes the call, and we're going to a flop. Flop comes 6, 8, 3, 2 hearts out there, so with eights, flopping an overpair, always a good flop for us. When he checks to us, I definitely want stacks to get in the middle here, so I'd fire a bet of $45 since he's pretty short stacked on the larger side here. After thinking about it, unfortunately, he makes the laydown. But yeah, that was really the only interesting hand of 1-3. We played for 15 minutes before getting called up to the 2-5 game. So we make the switch, and we end up making $12 out of 15 minutes of 1-3. Always nice to book a profitable 1-3 session after a long 15-minute grind. First hand of 2-5 we go. We have ace-king offsuit on the button with 1,000 in our stack. The player to my right open limps. He's a short stack who bought in for about $200-ish. And here, action's up to me. I raise to $25 with ace-king. Folds all the way back to the cutoff player, and he makes the call, so going to a flop. Flop comes 5-5 deuce, 2 clubs out there. He checks, and with ace-king high, I certainly can beat a lot of his open limping range. Besides his medium pocket pairs. But here I decided to just down bet to $20, get some random queen jack holdings like that. Decide to make the call potentially and float. He does make the call for 20, and we're off to a turn. Turn comes a 6, and this is some really interesting and weird action. When this turn comes, he checks his cards, looks at them for quite some time, and thinks. After thinking it over, he ends up checking to us. When he does check, though, I do sense a little bit of weakness, but here I decided to just check it back with ace-king high, and we're going to a river. The river is the queen of diamonds. With this river, now he thinks and throws out a bet of $40. From my point of view, there are not a whole lot of queen X's in his range. I don't really see a hand here that he's betting besides pocket 6s or some sort of 5x holding. I think pocket 7s plus will check with this queen out there, so not believing him, I call with ace king high. He announces ace high, and here obviously I know I'm good since I have the nut ace high. So I show my hand, we're good. He shows ace 7 offsuit. Next hand, we pick up ace 10 of hearts with an under the gun straddle out there. I opened to $30 with this straddler, and we get some action as the big blind and under the gun straddler make the call. So we're going to a flop 3 ways in position. Flop comes 8, 4, deuce, 2 spades, and a heart out there. Action checks to me, and here certainly can see it on the super dry board, but I really don't see any point in doing so since ace 10 high, some showdown with some backdoor draws out there. So I end up checking it back, and we're going to a turn. Turn comes the queen of hearts, brings in our backdoor heart draw. Big blind checks. The under the gun player bets $35. This very small sizing, it's a pretty easy call for me with an over and our nut flush draw. So we call the 35 and the big blind folds. The river is a beautiful 9 of hearts. There we go. We love to see the runner nut flush. So even better than that, he actually throws out a bet of $85, only leaving himself with about $110-ish behind. So obviously we're going to have to make the jam here. Assuming he's going to be committed with his stack all the time, we definitely should be able to get all the money in. I Hollywood and pretend to think, but obviously I jam it all in. He makes the call. I show the nuts, and we are obviously good. He flips over queen deuce for 2 pair. I didn't capture it, but that's what he had. Next hand, pocket queens in middle position. I open up the action to $20. Pre-flop wise, not a whole lot of action as only the big blind makes the call for 15 more, and we're going to see a flop heads up. Flop comes ace 5, 10, 2 spades, and he checks to us. Ace high boards, gotta love seeing that with pocket queens, right? We check it back just because, obviously, why wouldn't we? We're going to a turn, which comes the deuce of spades. Once again, he checks to us, and here, how can I get value from 1 spade holding, or maybe even 10x as well? I throw a tiny bet of $15. He does make the call for 15, and we're going to a river. The river is the 6 of clubs, and once again, he checks to us. With this action, considering he didn't lead out on this river, you gotta assume pocket queens might actually be good here. Can I ever get a pair of 10s to make the call? Well, I definitely tried to do so with a $20 bet. He ends up thinking, and he does make the call for $20. We show pocket queens, and we are good to go. We milk out $35 extra of value here, and happy to take this one down. This next hand is a little interesting, so happy to go over this one. We're playing 4-handed, and we're in the small blind with pocket 9s. The button opens up the action to $15, and here I have a tricky spot with a pretty strong hand, playing 4-handed, but we're out of position. I could flat for 15 sometimes, but with a strong hand, certainly probably stronger than what he's holding. I 3-bet $55, almost 4x since we're out of position. It folds back to him, and the button makes the call for 55. And we're off to a flop. The flop comes 10, 7, 8, 2 hearts, and a diamond out there. So this board really doesn't smash my 3-betting range, but obviously smashes my exact holding here since we have a pair and are open-ended. I'm not really sure what to do, but I think I should probably just go into check call mode on this flop. So I do check. He does make a bet of $55, and I'm certainly not going anywhere with this flop bet here. We want to see if we can improve to our straight, or potentially be good here against some sort of holding like ace queen of hearts or something like that. So I call 55, and the turn comes the 10 of diamonds. It brings in a backdoor flush draw, and I check again. Here at this point, I'm thinking probably I might just be good here sometimes, considering it's a lot less likely that he has a 10x holding. But he does bet once again for $140, sizing up now. Here, I think I have a pretty standard call here for now. I'm really not sure what kind of hand he could be holding. Here, the only hands I could beat are just some sort of heart draws. So I'm just not really sure, but I do call the 140. Not really sure where I'm at right now with pocket 9s, but we're going to evaluate a river. The river comes the jack of hearts, so we get there. But this board is just insane. Jack 10 is certainly a holding that we could be crushed by. The front door flush draws we can be crushed by. I decided to just check here. I'm not really sure what I can get value from when we get there with the straights. He snap checks it back. I show my hand, and it looks like I'm good. I have no idea what sort of hand snap checks it back. I really don't know. I feel like sometimes a 10x holding with trips possibly could bet a third time for very thin value, but considering the snap check, we might have been good all the way, but let me know in the comments below on this one. This one was a pretty interesting hand. Next, we're still playing four-handed here, and we're in the small blind with 5-7 of clubs. This was one of my favorite hands when I started playing poker, so we got to play this one. The button opens up the action to $15, and here I call for 15, and the big blind calls as well, just facing a 3x raise. So we're going to a flop, which comes 5-7 deuce, 2 hearts, and a spade out there. Flopping top 2, what a beautiful sight. Here I'm first to act, I check. The big blind now actually leads out for $35 before the pre-flop raiser. So the button makes the fold here, and here now out of position, facing a donk lead. This is clearly a spot where I need to raise. I'm mainly just targeting some sort of combo draw potentially because, I mean, I block basically everything here. So I size up on the larger side, out of position to $145. He goes well into the tank now, facing this flop bet. So essentially, I'm just trying to target 7x or some sort of heart draw or combo draw. But he does eventually make the call for 145 total, and we're off to a turn. Turn comes the queen of spades, brings in a backdoor flush draw again, and here I'm really not concerned about a hand like queen 7 getting there. Although he could have queen 7 sometimes, I'm really not concerned about that right now. My main goal here is trying to get stacks in now on the turn to protect from draws and potentially, just maybe, get a very sticky 7x to call. Here now, I decide to size up to $375 as he had about $600-ish total behind. So here, like I said, I'm really trying to get the majority of the stacks in on this turn card. And with this bet here, it seemed a little bit too big because he did think about it, but ends up making the folds. We take this one down, assuming he probably had a draw since we do block so much, but we're happy to scoop this one.
Thank you.
The next spot we get involved in, we have Jack 10 of hearts in the big blind, and there are 3 limpers to me. Typically, I would probably raise this in a normal 1-2 or 1-3 game, but in this 2-5 game, I really don't think there's a need to inflate the pot out of position, so I just decided to check, and we're playing a 4-way limped pot. Flop comes king, 4-5, 2 hearts, and a club out there, and here, small blind checks to me. With our flush draw and some backdoor straight draw possibilities, I bet $10 just to see what happens. Well, looks like everyone connected with the flop because all 3 players make the call for 10. So we're off to a turn 4 ways. The turn comes the 10 of clubs, brings in the backdoor flush draw, and interestingly enough, at this point, the burn cards get exposed. The flop and the turn burn were the queen of clubs and the 3 of hearts, which is pretty significant, I think, considering that definitely blocks both of the flush draws, and I know that one of my heart draw outs are gone. The small blind checks to me, and here with the pair and flush draw, I decided to just check it multi-way here, try to see a free river card, because I obviously don't think my pair of 10s is good here at this point. The player directly to my left under the gun here, he bets $35. The next player makes the call for $35. The small blind gets out of the way, and here, very much priced in. I'm obviously just going to have to make the call for $35. Hope to improve and see a river. River comes another 10, so this is pretty perfect. A very disguised trips here. I don't think anyone's ever going to put someone on a 10x holding. I decided to size up to around half pot, just getting someone with a king to call. I can sometimes bet a lot larger since I can be bluffing with missed draws here, since I kind of am, but half pot, we want to get calls. I bet $85. The under the gun player does make the call for $85. The other player folds. I show my hand, and we are good. This next spot here, we've been running pretty well, and we're playing 5-handed with a button straddle. I look down at queen 9 of clubs, and there's a small blind limper. Here, a low amount of position, whatever, I raise it up to $40, widening up my range just a little bit. We get one player in the cutoff to make the call, so we're going heads up out of position. Flop comes king, jack, 8, 2 clubs out there. So now with a gutter ball and the queen high flush draw, king X board definitely hits our range for sure opening preflop. I bet $55, just a little bit on the larger side, since we do have a pretty good combo draw here. And he does make the call for 55, and we're off to a turn. Turn comes the 7 of hearts. This really doesn't do a whole lot to this board, I don't think. Obviously, we miss for now, but I have an option to just check for pot control or bet on the larger side once again and try to apply maximum pressure. With our combo draw, we're going to have to do it. I bet $165. He thinks about it and ends up jamming for about $450. Here, I didn't bet 165 and size up to fold to a jam. Although it's $300 more, we're going with it with our combo draw and see what happens. So I actually snap call. River comes a queen. Can't say I'm good here with a pair of queens, unfortunately. But he does flip over 10-9 for the turned straight. And yeah, we lose that one. He ended up having $452 in his stack total. This was a pretty big hit to our stack that we've been building up here so far, and we double up this player. 2 hands later, we pick up pocket queens on the button right after we double someone up. There's an under the gun limper and actions onto me. I decide to raise up on the larger side to $30, looking like I am a little tilted. Looks like the table wants some of my action as we get 3 players to make the call total, the blinds, and the under the gun player. So we're going to a flop 4 ways, which comes 8-5 deuce, 2 spades, and a club here. With our overpair on a fairly dry board, it looks like we're only concerned about some spade draws. So when action checks to me, here, like I said, trying to look tilted. I bet $100, really, really large. The small blind and big blind both fold. The under the gun player thinks about it and makes the call for 100, and we're going to a turn. The turn comes the 4 of diamonds, and he checks to us. Yes, this is a pretty connected board, and this player has seemed to be very, very aggressive. I think with our overpair, pretty strong hand, I think we just have to bet again, especially against him. Charge the max for spade draws. Here I size to $185. He now thinks and does something that's a little interesting that I didn't expect. He raises to $400 total with only about $200-ish behind. I mean, I'm in a pretty gross situation, and I feel kind of gross about it, but I don't block any of the draws, and I think a lot of combo draws could potentially do this. I'm not really sure why he would leave himself with $200 behind. But here, a little tilted, honestly, from doubling up the player with Queen 9, since I really didn't play well there. Here, let's just go for it with our overpair and hope we're good and hold against the flush draw. So I do jam and I cover him about $600-ish total. He snap calls, so that's never the best news in the world. The river is the ace of hearts. He shows us ace 3 of spades, and we were dead to rights on the turn. Back-to-back hands, basically doubling 2 people up. We feel pretty bad about this one.
I had the spade redraw. Even if he has 6-7, you have a redraw on the line. Alright guys, this is for me. Good luck. Bro. Thank you. Appreciate that. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 50, 7, 725 and 4, 729.
Can I give you $1?
Sure. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, it's not going to be up to me in 20 minutes. Thank you. Safely say.
I took a long walk before I record this outro, so I don't just scream and shout curses left and right. That's frustrating. Back-to-back hands, doubling people up. I'm not even frustrated at the run out. I'm literally, like, after thinking it over, I'm more frustrated at the fact that I just could have taken different lines, a little bit more conservative, and check just for pot control and not have to just get stacks in. So Queen 9 could have checked on that turn when I didn't improve, and that Queen's hand could have checked it back when there was the wheel out there, and he did have the wheel. And then the ace on the river got there anyway, just like to literally have me lose every single way possible. So at my peak, I was actually, so I was in the game for 1,000, just one buy-in. At my peak, I was up about 900. And we played for a little under 4 hours of the 2-5, and I was out of the game for $730. So overall, not a bad loss. Only lost 270. Wow, it's so windy. I really hope this audio is decent, but that's a swing of $1,200 that we didn't need to endure. $1,200 swing, not in our favor. there's that. I'm pissed that I didn't take the optimal lines. Just gotta learn how to check sometimes with strong hands and strong draws. And we didn't improve, didn't get there, and yeah, we were drawing dead on the second one. So that's it. That's the vlog. We got absolutely smoked, absolutely cracked. That's it. Peace. Thanks for watching. Look out for the next one. Man.